Hello and thank you for watching today's video. We're here today to talk about wait rules, which are a feature of Alert Sync. They were new in version 1.5, new in the ServiceNow store at version 1.1.8 and beyond. So to get us sort of started, let's see what they are and how you'd use them. So what are wait rules? So straightforward enough question to answer. They allow you to add a delay essentially. With standard incident creation rules, which you'll probably be familiar with, but if not, it's worth checking those out too. A SCOM alert that is received by ServiceNow is evaluated against a bunch of criteria. And based on those criteria, an incident is raised or not, depending on what happens. And the evaluation happens as soon as the SCOM alert is received. With the wait rule, you have effectively a pause in between the SCOM alert coming into ServiceNow and the rules being evaluated. So think, in terms of use case, think of things like port flaps, where you have a network port that's going up and down and up and down, and things like CPU monitors, where you've got random spikes, that kind of thing. So let's dig in a bit more on that and understand why we might hold back alerts rather than simply raise incidents for all of them. So here we have a pretty standard CPU graph, and we can see this is an hour window. We've got two spikes where utilization goes above 80%. This is a monitor in this case, and it will raise an alert against the CPU where the CPU spikes above 80%, and it will recalculate and automatically close alerts below that threshold. So the threshold for this CPU monitor is 80%. So you can see we've got one spike where we have a peak of about a minute where it's above 80% and another peak of about 5 minutes, somewhere like that. The question is, do you want incidents for these spikes? The answer might well be yes, I do. I want to find out why they happened and figure out what the root cause is, etc. The answer might equally valid an answer be no. So especially in the case of this first spike where it's a minute long, it doesn't get high for very long at all. It's sort of a minute in time and it seems to sort itself out. Second spike for more like 5 minutes, you might choose the answer to that question to be yes, but really there's no right or wrong answer to that question. It's just a preference, company preference typically. But in the current, previous to the connector version 1.5, an incident will be raised for each of these spikes, as they'll both be raised as alerts by SCOM in this example. So without wait rules, in SCOM an alert is raised, it's pushed through to ServiceNow. This is in the case without event management here, and an alert record is created. It's instantly matched against incident creation rules, and if there's a match, an incident is raised. So in the case of our spiky CPU, that SCOM alert will get closed really quickly afterwards, which results in the alert record being marked as closed as well. This incident will be raised regardless of what happens here, because the SCOM alert existed in most cases. And is this desired? If the answer is no, I don't want this, you would configure wait rules. So this picture now with wait rules. So we have our SCOM alert raised by the monitor and our alert record in ServiceNow. Now we have a wait rule in here. So let's say we need to hold the SCOM alert back for a period of time before evaluating against incident creation rules. Let's say it was 4 minutes. So that first spike, in the case of the first spike on that graph, the SCOM alert would close, the alert record would be closed, and because our wait was for 4 minutes, our incident creation rule match after that 4 minute period would not result in a match if the criteria of those rules were alert must be open. So you would get no incident. So there we go. So that's wait rules and why you would use them. All right, let's show you it in action. So I'm going to go to my demo box here, and we're looking at our incident creation rules here in ServiceNow. So I've got a bunch of them here already. If you're not familiar with them, I won't be going into the details of them in this video. Just know that there are a bunch of them you can create, and they match SCOM alerts and govern when an incident is raised or not based on their conditions. So I'm going to come in here and create a new rule. I'm going to have this rule be the highest priority rule applying before these guys to put everything behind a wait. So I'm going to come in here and go new. I'm going to say that this is a wait rule. So doing this changes the UI. So you get your wait duration up here. We're going to set a minute's wait in here, and we're going to call this wait rule. And we're going to mark it as active. And we're going to make sure it's the highest priority rule. Let's make it 10. And make sure that all alerts are matched against it. So we're going to set alert ID is not empty in here and save this guy. So I'm now going to push through an incident from my SCOM box. Let's have this one here, why not? SCOM in this case is set up to push SCOM alerts through when they're in the state to create incident. There's a 60-second delay here in SCOM in them being pushed through. You'll see when it gets flagged for forwarding, when this forward status column has something in it other than blank, which will be about a minute, give or take. And then we should see the SCOM alerts be pushed through to ServiceNow and it get held against a wait rule before being evaluated against the incident creation criteria and an incident being raised or not. So we're going to have to do a bit of waiting here. So what we're going to do quickly is pop through to ServiceNow and go to our SCOM alerts table. And we're going to wait here until the SCOM alert is received. I'm going to cut some time out of the video so you don't have to watch me waiting and hitting refresh, but that's what I'll be doing here. Okay, so here you can see my SCOM alert has been pushed through. Its incident creation rule is set to my wait rule, so it doesn't currently have an incident. It's being held against this wait rule. If we drill into this guy, what we should see, apart from the same information again, is on the alert history tab. We can see what's going on here. We can see we've started the wait and that it's hit the awaits rule and that it's a 1 minute wait. If we look at the screen and keep refreshing for another minute, we should see the wait time clear, and then the incident creation rules get re-evaluated to see if there's a second match. While we're waiting here, just worth noting, only a single wait rule can apply, so you can't have nested wait rules. If you configure it to have two, priority 1 be a wait rule for a minute and priority 2 be a wait rule for 5 minutes, then only the first one will apply. So I can see from the squiggly line here that something has happened. So if I refresh, what I should see is, here we go. So wait complete, rerunning incident creation rules. These are in a strange order because they all happen in the same second. They aren't separated by seconds. This is ordered by time, and if they all happen at the same time, there we go. So the wait rule completes, it reruns the incident creation rules, it finds the match, this is the rule it matched against, and this is the incident that was raised. So there we go. On my incident attributes tab, I can now see the incident creation rule and the incident number. And there we go, that's wait rules in a nutshell. Really simple feature. It should allow you to handle some of the use cases around port flaps and the likes. And as per our demo example, CPU spikes with monitors. So really powerful feature, available in the SCOM connector for ServiceNow version 1.5 and higher. So go check it out now.